I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, December the 9th, brought to you in part by Noromycin by Norbrook. Noromycin 300 LA is your proven go-to antibiotic for seasonal diseases in cattle. It is a must-have in your vet shack, your pickup, your four-wheeler or side-by-side, or saddlebags. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Are we there yet? And what I'm asking there, is this as good as it's going to get? I don't believe that myself, but I'm starting to have more people ask me that. And if you kind of look at the way the market's been over the last several months, we're getting up there pretty good, guys. You know, we've got the best fat cattle market, best yearling feeder cattle market, best calf market that we've had since 2015, when the market was retreating from the all-time record highs of 2014. And remember those 2014 highs, the 172 on fats, you know, the board jumping like it did, that was artificially driven. We had one of our best cattle risk managers that was fined heavily for that. And so, you know, if you're wondering where the longs are at to support the live cattle, we haven't convinced any of them that we can get the market that high. And so they're just, they're not playing. And so it just plays right into the hands of the board, of your hedged cattle feeders, of your big corporate feeders, to keep a big basis like we have right now. We sold some cattle at 158, not the bulk of them, but some cattle at 158 on Thursday in the Northern Plains. Your board closed at 152.42. On Wednesday, we saw a basis jumper sell cattle at 153. Now that wouldn't be a very good basis if he didn't get out until Thursday, but it would have been a better basis if he'd wait and got to 154 that we saw, and most people are in the Southern Plains are holding for 155. If you lost 50 cents by the board going up like it did on Thursday and gaining a buck in the cash market, that would have been a better basis. But we cannot convince any of these hedge funds, any of these money managers to get in on the long side and push this fat cattle market on the board, your live cattle contract, any higher than what we've gotten it right now, because we just they don't see the evidence that we can get it up there. And I agree that we need to get it higher, but maybe this is as good as it's going to get for a while, until we can get to the point where these packers are getting so short of product that they really get aggressive and start jumping out there. But whenever they've got over 80% of their needs already handed to them all the time, they'll probably just go out there and import some more of their Brazilian product, bring it in here, you know, package it a different way, and everybody will assume that it's a product of the USA. Now, these are the kind of things we're going to be talking about at the U.S. Cattlemen's Association's annual meeting and Cattlemen's Forum here this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. I just come in the lobby this evening on Thursday evening and saw several guys that I was glad to see here. There's going to be a lot more that I know that are coming and I haven't seen yet, but you know, you might want to look around a little bit. As far as historically, we definitely got a lot further down to go than we do up, and things have changed a little bit here. Our fuel has backed up quite a bit. The corn basis has backed up quite a bit. In the corn belt, your cash corn's not $7 a bushel anymore. Yes, that's going to ease things up a little bit on your cost of gains, not so much on the guys that have to put a lot of freight in it, because freight's still expensive. But things are changing just a little bit out there, and like I said, I always encourage you guys to stay protected, but keep your eyes open. Let's look at your board on Thursday. December live cattle futures were up 50 cents, 152.42. February was up 37 cents at 153.92. Your back months were down 10 on the farthest out traded month, and mostly higher, but just only as much as 57 cents. January feeder cattle contracts up 257 at 183.47, and that's with word of some of the cash prices that were being paid in the sale barns out there, because we have competition in those auction markets. March feeder cattle up $1.80 at 185.05. Your back months up $1.15 to up $1.82. Corn was up 4 1/4 cents. Beans were up 14 1/4. Fat cattle trade, we still have not seen a big rush. We haven't seen the gate swing yet. The packers are bound and determined to get this market turned and going back south. And the few guys that sell negotiated fed cattle, some of them have given up. Some of them have decided to basis jump, and some of them are still holding firm. Consolidated beef producers still holding out for 155 in the Southern Plains. I sure hope they get it, and that would just be steady, guys. So this market's going to be steady to lower, and probably a buck lower in a lot of places. Iowa, 1,275 head confirmed on Thursday, just 5,400 head for the week, with live sales from 156 to 157, dress sales from 245 to 247. Nebraska, 1,700 head, 15,800 head for the week there, and they sold from steady to $1 lower. We've seen that 17 head on Thursday sell from 156 to 158, and that 158 is the extreme top. And dress sales from 246 to 247. Kansas, they haven't traded hardly any in Kansas negotiated. Only 100 head on Thursday at 154, because that's a buck lower and the guys don't want to do it. They've only sold 900 head for the week, and it's mostly been mixed bag stuff. There's a lot of cattle to trade in Kansas, and I hope they at least get 155 for them, and I assume that they probably will here on Friday. Texas, 2,400 head sold on Thursday from 154 to 154 and a half. That's a buck and a half better than the swath that sold on Wednesday, but there was only about 1,300 head of those. Still a lot of cattle to sell in Texas. For the week, they've sold 4,300 head in Texas, which is about half what they typically do there. Box beef cutout values were mixed. Choice cuts down 168 at 247.28. Selects up 78 cents at 220.55. Your slaughter still running at a good clip. They keep saying that they're going to back off on the slaughter. We have not seen it yet. 508,000 through the first 4 days of the week. That's 4,000 less than last week's big movement. 21,000 more than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Every month we feature one feeder cattle auction that is doing a really good job for their customers. Had some really stick out deals over the last month, and this month we're going to feature as the market of the month Joplin Regional Stockyards. They had 3 yearling specials featuring over 10,000 head of mostly yearlings in a time when nobody else had any yearlings. They're sitting in a prime spot there in southwest Missouri, where you got people bringing those yearlings off the fescue pastures, and a lot of cattle are backgrounded in that area. But Joplin is always progressive. They do a good job. It's a family operation there. Jackie Moore and his 2 boys, for the most part, Bailey and Skylar, do the bulk of the work around there. But they've got one heck of a team, and they've got a jillion field representatives that have close personal relationships with all of those customers out there, and they are working the country continuously. Congratulations to Joplin Regional Stockyards for being your Zoetis Market of the Month. Talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV Auction late in the day on Thursday set at 178.03. That's up 22 cents. Talk about some of your big sales. On Thursday, Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas sold 3,000 head. Once again, with Kansas market reporters there, I could not really tell what they were trying to say on the trend. Look at the automated market report, and it looked like your best tested weights were all higher, from $2 to $7 or $8 higher, but they had the market trend going every which way. They had a stick out sale I saw on some big yearling steers in Salina. 100 head weighed 971 at 185.50. My goodness. How about winter livestock and Pratt? I have to say, J.R. Stratford, son of Steve Stratford there from Pratt Industries, did shorten his national finals. Did split the winning go-round on round number 3, but then injuries after that forced him home early, and that's got to be a heartbreaker for him, as hard as he worked to get there, and we wish him the best going forward. But Pratt, Kansas, 2,500 head on Thursday. Your middleweight calves steady to $4 lower. Lightweight calves, like what they're wanting to buy on this wheat that suddenly appeared out across the countryside, steady to $5 higher. Your Zoetis stick-out sale of the day was Ogallala Livestock Auction in Ogallala, Nebraska. 5,400 head. You look at this automated market report, and I left the changes on there from last week, but you got to pay attention to how many cattle are in those different weight groups. But they had 5,000 last week, so it's a good comparison, guys. But look at your best tested weights. The market was sharply higher and called sharply higher by Nebraska market reporters there. 878 head of 5-weight steers, average 549 with a weighted average price of $227.60. That's $18 gain on your weighted average, guys. Talk about sharply higher, I guess. 1,329 head of 6-weight steer calves, average 642 with a weighted average price of $210.12. That was $15 higher. Your heifers, 467 head of your 4-weight heifers, average 448 with a weighted average price of $209.72. That's $18 higher than last week. 591 head of your 5-weight heifer calves, and mind you, these have been sorted through quite a bit because they are starting to keep some of those heifers back before they bring them to the market. 544 pounds on the average of those 5-weight heifers, average 190.37, about $7 higher. Excellent sale at Ogallala Livestock Auction. Give you some other individual quotes. How about Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota? 7,000 head. They had well tested in all weights, light calves, middleweight calves, feeding calves, and big feeding yearlings. And you know how they feature the big near beers up there. They had over 1,200 head, 1,207 head of 9-weight steers in Mitchell, South Dakota. They averaged $9.55 with a weighted average price of $183.04. My goodness, that is over $10 higher. It's $15 higher than your index levels, and 150 pounds or more bigger. You think they're not selling them up there at Mitchell Livestock? And congratulations to my friend up there that bought that sale there. Let's talk about one that's way out west. Orland Livestock Commission Yard in Orland, California. 58 steers, weighed 740 at 187 1/4. Way out west. How about Lamoni Livestock Auction, Lamoni, Iowa there. 62 head of steers, weighed 886 at 184.85. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day was Ogallala Livestock Auction. 180 steer calves, weighed 606 at 230 1/2. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.